Out of the fog, the curtain draws into the light. Before a world not seen before, but in my dreams.
We're here at the Canadian Museum of Nature in Ottawa for an event called Polar Perspectives, or Perspectives Polaires, which is a national event for the International Polar Year to celebrate the International Polar Year by having public lectures with some of the leading scientists and experts in Canada to talk about issues surrounding the Arctic, the Antarctic, and the global ecosystem.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening to launch Polar Perspectives. Polar Perspectives is an exciting national program of public education which we've developed to celebrate the International Polar Year.
As the stories started coming out, and we were really keen to share the spiritual aspects of what had happened to us with the people in Old Crow, because if anybody, we really felt that they would understand. And they did understand, and some really neat things came out, like a lot of the older people would start crying because the very way we were talking, the rhythm, how we were structuring our sentences, even the words.
Il y a la très vaste majorité des spécialistes de la question, donc des climatologues et des gens qui étudient le climat, qui disent, eux, qui sont inquiets, qui disent qu'au rythme actuel, en 2100, la concentration atmosphérique de CO2 et des autres gaz à effet de serre va avoir atteint son niveau le plus haut depuis environ 50 millions d'années. Donc, il faut monter à l'Éocène pour retrouver des concentrations de gaz à effet de serre aussi élevées que ça. Et évidemment, le climat à l'Éocène était beaucoup plus chaud que ce qu'on observe à l'heure actuelle.
We're also having daytime youth forums where we're bringing high school kids from each region together to learn about the International Polar Year, learn about various issues, cultural, scientific, the human dimension, and a number of the contemporary issues that are happening in the polar region.
And so we'll start off this morning by talking a lot about, just the issues. What is going on up north in the Arctic? And then we'll move towards more, making sure that we have at least a personal connection, because a lot of us believe as educators, you don't act or feel like any need for change if you're not connected to the issue. So it's connecting you to the issue, and that's why this afternoon we're going to hook up live with two students in Iqaluit, and we'll through Skype and through webcast, and they will be speaking to you, and you'll be asking questions. So we get a direct dialogue going on between you and some students in the north.
Do you feel like your generation is losing tradition, languages, and cultural values, and to what extent?
In most of the communities in the Baffin region, they're not losing their language, and they still know their cultural values, but they don't live the traditional way or dress so much the traditional way.
I used to think that they lived in igloos and were really isolated and were totally different people. It's only today that we kind of communicated with them via Skype, and I saw that they had electricity, they had a building, and the people actually didn't just wear fur coats all the time. So they actually are just like us, and it was really enlightening to be able to see one of the Inuit people and be able to talk with them.
Tout ici, cette place-là, d'habitude, ne font jamais. Puis maintenant, on le voit qu'ils font.
5,000 foot igloo is 215 here in Ottawa. That's what I paid for it. And up there, it goes $9.
We're also in the youth forums asking a pretty fundamental question to Canadian youth from coast to coast to coast. And that question is, what does the Arctic mean to you?
Mais pour moi, c'est vraiment une zone oubliée qu'il faut récupérer, qu'il faut protéger, parce que c'est le toit du monde, puis c'est très important pour la survie de la planète au complet.
Je viens d'un petit village qui s'appelle Klingate, au Quai Dorset, le nom anglophone. Mon père est québécois, ma mère est Inuk.
The people that we met today, they kind of open your eyes to tell you what really is out there, and that the culture and stuff that makes it even more a beautiful place than it already is. They open our eyes to see that the world can change, and we probably can save the Arctic if we act soon, but if we wait too long, then it's going to be too late.
I think at first, when we think of the Arctic, like it's always just a distant land that none of us has seen, and obviously it's becoming more prominent in the news these days, talking about climate change and global warming, and that's what this whole day was about actually. It was trying to get a better idea of like the issues going on and trying to develop your own perspective on the issues and trying to get more kids involved and see what we can do to help.
I think that there needs to be a stronger influence on the situation in the Arctic, because I know for a fact that a lot of people my age do not care about this situation at all. They have no interest at all. Like, they don't think they have any real. They're not important. They don't realize the value of one person.
To pass the torch in civilization, just as in a relay race. In the relay, the person you're passing to has to be ready to take it, or else it'll get dropped. And I think it's the duty of all of us to say enough about what kind of a race we're in and what are the rules of that race before we actually pass the torch to it.
I think the legacy of the next generation is probably one of the most critical outcomes of the International Polar Year, because they're the ones that are really going to be passed the torch to carry on the next several decades of polar research.
Out of the fog, the curtain draws into the light. Before a world not seen before, but in my dreams